Hello, my one subscriber, and welcome to my first theory about the mushrooms of Hollow Knight and the implications and how it may affect the gameplay aesthetic of Hollow Knight Silksong. And from my research, I figured about 4 different types of mushrooms, which some are extremely obscure, but let's start with a transition. The fungal waste is the mushroom area that has living, sentient mushrooms, like Mr. Mushroom, Mr. Mushroom, and Mr. Mushroom, because Mr. Mushroom will be a quite important character in this theory. I won't say why, but let's get back on track. So the fungal waste is the mushroom area where there are mantises and bouncy pink mushrooms, which is the gimmick of the area. But let me just say that the pink mushrooms would have been a better design idea for a heavy blow. It might but it might look like this. But let's go to the next one. So, Deep Nest has these special luminescent mushrooms that look great compared to the rest of the drab, arachnophobia-ridden cesspool of fear. But these mushrooms get huge, like the original Xbox One controller, unlike their cousins in the fungal waste, who are like the Japanese exclusive rework of the Xbox One commercial that's slim but effective. So these mushrooms are great, right? But none of the big ones are even in the Godmaster arena for Galleon. But anyway, let's talk about the next one. I'm so bad at this. So there's some geo mushrooms that are in the fungal waste that I can't for the life of me find a picture of. So I just made an MS Paint, and they don't really do much except give you geo. So time to go on to the most obscure one. So yeah, I know this seems really out of left field, but in the room where there are Thorns of Agony, there are mushrooms that are much different than any other mushroom in the game, since they are white as gray. Also, there are rocks that are in the Hunter's Den that looks a bit like mushrooms, but they're not mushrooms. I just want to clear that misconception, so then nobody gets mad at me because I don't have enough viewers. But so I guess it's time for me to actually theorize now. Yeah, theorizing. So I know that I've been starting every single part aside from the introduction with the word so, but let's start. Okay, the actual point of the series is seeing how any single one of these mushrooms could be related to Fire Emblem in any way, shape, or form, and not just by being a mushroom. So since you already know about all of these mushrooms, I will talk about them in an opposite order, since I think that the thorns of agony mushrooms have the least chance of getting into Fire Emblem, because these mushrooms are only shown in one room, which may mean it could just be an afterthought, or they Team Cherry forgot to remove it. And plus, there's zero lore connected to any of these mushrooms, so I'm ruling it out. Next is the Geoshroom, but since it's made out of Geo, I think there may be a shell shard version of it rather than a rosary version of it, and that may work for my theory that I'm currently doing a video on. But anyway, to the next one. Okay, so you know that joke that fell flat? Well, it's important to this video, since the luminescent mushrooms are in Deep Nest, and Deep Nest is gray. You also know what else is gray? Graymore. So the luminescent mushrooms can provide a lightning burst of color there, and they can be a replacement of the Lumifly lantern, where it's luminescent mushrooms instead of Lumiflies. And plus, it can be used for a different lighting besides the Grim Troop. But let's go to the meat of this video. The fungal waste. Man, how do I start this? Why don't I just start with an introduction to a very important character called Mr. Mushroom, who you track down all across Hallownest, and when you speak to him, he makes references to other games by Team Cherry, and once he notices you, he speaks to you and flies into the only post-credit theme in the game, which causes a to be continuous screen to appear, which seems to be tied into Silksong because Silksong is the sequel to Hollow Knight, and Mr. Mushroom has ties to the fungal waste. So unless there's a fungal waste in Silksong, I think he'll be in a late game secret passage in the Moss Grotto or the area before the bridge that breaks in the first cutscene. Now, it's time for the good old pure speculation. So this is just pure speculation, but the rocks that are in the background of the Moss Grotto seem to have mushroom-like caps. So that may be a way to have a part of the aesthetic of the Moss Grotto, where there are moss-covered mushrooms that may lead to a new tool, crest, or some other random item that may be in Silksong. But this is just basic speculation. That will go nowhere. So it's the end of the video. Subscribe if you want, or something. Oh yeah, also my next video about how Grim can be in Silksong, so come there next week or so. So I'm out.